actually voted on a bill that would provide for prison term and a hefty fine for any TSA officer that touched your genitals, okay? And 30 of the 31 senators were all set to sign it, and even that New World Order stooge, Rick Perry, had indicated he would sign the bill. And then the Justice Department came in and said, oh, well, if the TSA can't guarantee flights in Texas, then we'll just cancel all flights in Texas. In other words, turn Texas into a no-fly zone. Okay, and of course, thanks to the lieutenant governor and the governor, they immediately caved to their New World Order bosses. But and so they withdrew the legislation. But what an opportunity. We should have said, yeah, go ahead and declare Texas a no-fly zone, and we'll just stop tax revenues here and not send them to Washington. We'll cut off your money supply. How do you like that? But, of course, they're weak-kneed and they're paid for. The solution, as you well know, Alex, would be to elect people at a local level, particularly the local county sheriff, who by tradition and by law is the highest law enforcement officer, in the land. And there are a bunch of courageous sheriffs, as you well know, taking part in trying to protect the freedom in this country. I know there was one up in, I want to say, Montana, who publicly stated that if any federal officials came in and violated the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of the state, that his deputies would escort them to the border. And we need to have more like that, and we need to start standing up at the local level and just say no. But back to your thought, I'm in total agreement. I think they are scared to death. That's why they're tightening down, and it may be suicidal, Alex, because the more they tighten down, the more people wake up, and the more people bow their back and say, "No, wait a minute, stop that." And so it's an escalating type thing.
Jim, where do you see all this going? I mean, you say you think the New World Order's in trouble. I think they are. I don't think they're invincible. I mean, they've got all their plans laid, but, I mean, people are waking up to them. Why do you say the New World Order's in trouble?
Well, because, as you yourself said, it's all escalating. It's all, they're tightening down harder, faster, more openly. I mean, they've been in stealth mode for at least 100 years, moving with their New World Order. And now the gloves are off. I mean, look at what's happening with the economy. Look at what's happening with the European Union. The Greek Prime Minister, first he says, "Oh, well, we'll have a referendum," and then he says, "No, we won't have a referendum." And then I think they finally said, "No, we're not going to do that," because he's in the pocket of the international bankers. But and of course, the Prime Minister in England, he won't allow a referendum. So, wait a minute, people begin to wake up and say, well, wait a minute, if we're free people, why can't we vote on what we want to do? You know, for example, we see the same thing in this country. With all the economic problems we've had and with all the stuff that's going on with Wall Street, when has the public ever had a chance to vote on whether we wanted to have the TARP bailouts or whether we wanted to send $14 trillion over to prop up foreign banks? When do we get a chance to vote on this? It makes a mockery of the whole concept of democracy, doesn't it?
It does, and we even see MSNBC and Bloomberg and all these channels saying it's bad the Germans might not vote for this. We need to get rid of freedom. We need to get rid of their right to vote. I mean, it's just like open.
It is, and you know, when you start talking about the technical details and financial details of derivatives and things like that, most people, their eyes glaze over because we're just, you know, it's all we can do to just pay our light bills. But when you start talking about, do you get a chance to vote or not, that's pretty understandable, isn't it?
Well, it's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Let's start getting a little bit into Occupy Wall Street. I mean, it's coming out now that they basically called out a crowd. Well, many people showed up. The Soros folks tried to co-opt it. Now they admit Acorn's there, but it didn't work very well in my view.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing in New York is interesting, too, because that park that they're in has recently just gotten a big the company that owns it has gotten a big grant from the Obama administration. And so, in other words, it's like, and of course, Obama himself is more or less sympathized with this. So we can see, wait a minute, what's happening here? Here are people protesting the establishment, and the leader of the establishment says, we're all for you. Doesn't that, that should ring some bells with somebody. But again, this is a thing where you have to go back and understand who's really in charge, and who's really in charge are these people who inhabit these secret societies, like you yourself went out to Bohemian Grove, and you understand totally, and I think most of your listeners understand what I'm talking about. And, this goes back, and of course, one of their key mottos is order out of chaos. Well, to promote order out of chaos, first you have to create chaos, and that's what they're doing right now.
Jim, I want to take phone calls at the bottom of the hour, but when we come back, there's so many subjects I could raise, but what else is on your radar screen? What are you working on right now? We're going to go to break. Tell us about that on the other side. I'm not seeing bumper music from Genesis, but we'll...
That's all right, I'll cut off. We'll stop if we get the music. Here we go. We're going to be right back. Stay with us. Jim Marrs is our guest. We're into hour number 26 of Global Transmission. You can watch the free video streams and spread that out. That link to everybody to help spread the truth at Infowars.com.
November 4th, 2011. Gold opened this morning at $1758.40. A 1-ounce gold coin can be purchased for $1801.73, $900.86 for a half ounce, or $450.43 for a quarter ounce. That's $1801.73, $900.86, or $450.43.
Gold isn't for you? Hi, I'm Ted Anderson, and I get it. You wouldn't buy gold if you believed the government is doing a great job. The Fed will stop handing out trillions like bailout candy, but that's not what's happening. If all looks rosy, then now is not the time to buy gold. For the realists, there have never been more sobering reasons to diversify. Since 2001, the U.S. dollar index has tanked while gold has risen 1,600%. Savvy investors are adding gold to their portfolios. Find out what they know. Call us and I'll send you 10 reasons why gold will do very well. Free. Call 800-686-2237. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
What happened, man? You used to be energetic, happy, and wow, did the ladies love you. Now, you fall asleep on the couch, irritable, and out of shape. Don't be that guy. Call now for a risk-free trial of Ageless Male, a natural supplement shown to raise testosterone by 61% and maintain healthy, normal levels. No injections, no appointments. With healthy testosterone levels, you can feel that energy again, that great outlook again, and yes, even a healthy sex drive. Right now, you can try Ageless Male risk-free. There's nothing to lose, guys. If you're a man who's noticed changes in your body, your mood, your sex life, call now for a risk-free trial of Ageless Male. Be the guy you used to be. Just call 1-800-497-8345. Don't wait another day. Just call 1-800-497-8345. That's 1-800-497-8345.
You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join PrisonPlanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear.
That's the sound of your door being kicked in by an intruder with a single kick. That's the sound of the same door now protected by the Door Sentinel at MySafeDoor.com. Go to MySafeDoor.com right now and watch the amazing video. At MySafeDoor.com, you'll learn how to turn your home into a fortress with the Door Sentinel. 16 kicks later, And the Door Sentinel is still holding strong. MySafeDoor.com. That's MySafeDoor.com.
We want to know, how do you use WebEx?
I use WebEx anytime I need to meet with clients. With the new WebEx high-quality video, it's like meeting face-to-face.
Connect online and share what's on your computer screen with others. Anytime, anywhere. On their desktop, on their laptop, or mobile device. How do you use WebEx? Go to WebEx.com right now and try WebEx free. WebEx from Cisco. WEBEX.com.
Yep. It's high noon. Jesse Ventura's up there in the middle of his press conference. It's high noon for all of us. Freedom is safety. That's what it comes down to. Our domestication is just ongoing. But, you know, I don't understand the globalists. They're expert psychological warfare experts. That's been proven. But at the same time, they study populations, but they're pushing and pushing. It's getting the sheep more into line, but for large segments of the public, it's just enraging people and really getting them moving. But I guess that happens throughout history. But getting back to, I was asking you before the break, what's big on your radar screen, Jim?
Well, this is November after all, and I know that you and I have both had that long-standing interest in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. So I've been going back and digging up through some of the details, some of the things that tend to get lost in the whole thing. As you'll recall, one of the big arguments they made was they said that Lee Harvey Oswald, who was accused of being the assassin, and I say accused because he never got a fair trial, never got a fair hearing, never was convicted of anything. In fact, the Warren Commission heard secret testimony, cherry-picking their evidence behind closed doors, refused to let anyone represent Oswald in a legal sense, and then came out and said, well, we think he did it and acted alone. Or as Gerald R. Ford always said over and over and over again, we could find no evidence of conspiracy. Well, no, they couldn't because they didn't allow anything that smacked of conspiracy in there. But one of the key things they used quite effectively was that Oswald was accused of shooting a Dallas policeman, J.D. Tippit, out in South Oak Cliff near the intersection of 10th and Patton. And the argument went, well, if he hadn't shot the president, then why did he shoot the cop? And so he shot the cop, so therefore he must have shot the president. Well, I think I could prove to any reasonable, open-minded person that Oswald did not shoot the cop. So now we can reverse the argument and say, well, he didn't shoot the cop. Maybe he didn't shoot the president. And the way I can prove he didn't shoot Officer Tippit is pretty simple. In years past, and in my book, Crossfire, The Plot That Killed Kennedy, I pointed to three separate witnesses, an insurance salesman, a young boy who is now a Dallas evangelist, or was a few years ago, named Jack Davis, and Butch Burroughs, the assistant manager of the Texas Theater, all of whom told me that they encountered Lee Harvey Oswald, who was arrested in the Texas Theater about 1:30. No later than just a few minutes after 1, Officer Tippit was shot about 1:10 or 1:15 blocks away at 10th and Patton. So in other words, there are three separate witnesses who placed Oswald in the theater at the time Officer Tippit was shot. So obviously he can't be in two places at the same time. So he was not at 10th and Patton shooting the cop. Now, well, so why did they believe he did it? Well, there was another Dallas policeman named J.M. Poe, and Poe arrived at the scene of the Tippit shooting and was given some shell cases that the witnesses had picked up off the ground that they said had been left behind by the killer of Officer Tippit. Officer Poe, being a good trained police officer, scratched his initials brass shell cases, and there was the evidence. And yet, in the spring of 1964, when the Warren Commission